Hey there, superstar. Welcome to my video where I'm going to talk about what is emotional alchemy. In this video, I'm going to start by explaining what emotional alchemy is, explaining my journey with practicing emotional alchemy, and then I'll share with you a process that I come up with that I use myself and also with my clients to help them use emotional alchemy to become more evolved, more conscious, more aware, more awake, and also more successful in their businesses. Let's go. First, let's talk about what the word alchemy even means. It is a term that used to be used or has been used historically to describe a practice back in the Middle Ages whereby philosophers and scientists of the time tried to turn base metals, not very valuable metals, into valuable metals like gold. So essentially it's turning like lead into gold or turning something not valuable into something valuable. And so the term has also been applied to spiritual practices, spiritual alchemy, and now I'm going to be sharing with you what it is in the context of emotional alchemy. It's a way of developing yourself emotionally, of developing yourself personally by processing negative feelings, experiences, emotions, triggers, and wounds, processing them such that they become gifts. So they become something valuable, something that has fueled your growth and your progress. And it's easier said than done. Essentially, what emotional alchemy is asking us to do and really requires us to do is fully immerse ourselves in the feelings that we're holding on to, the pain, the sadness, the guilt, the shame, the anger, emotions that generally we don't like to feel and we avoid. Emotional alchemy asks us to not only feel them, but to also feel them fully, allow them to move through us so that we can release them and gain the gifts that are on the other side. Now, if you've ever had a negative experience in your life that ultimately turned into a blessing, where you've actually seen that alchemy, where you were broken down, where you were hurt, maybe you got a divorce or you lost somebody that was close to you, and it ultimately became a gift, something that allowed you to grow in some new way. We're not saying that that thing didn't hurt or that it didn't feel bad, but we are saying that in that experience, fully feeling it, there was a gift, there was a blessing on the other side. So emotional alchemy is the art of taking yourself through that process. And I'm going to share with you my personal steps that I've come up with to actually do that process. Now, I must also say that I didn't invent these steps by myself. This is a process that I put together, but it's based on learnings and teachings that I've gotten from my mentors. And let me just share a couple of those influences with you, the bigger influences. The first is somebody I talk about all the time. Her name is Nanilea Diamond. She's one of my spiritual mentors. And so Nanilea has taught me about the art of alchemy, and she's given me the language, some of which I'll be sharing with you. Now, together with that, one of my big influences is also one of her big influences, which is the book, The 12 Stages of Healing. The 12 Stages of Healing by Donald Epstein is all about 12 stages of consciousness. And so that's woven into this alchemy process that I'll share with you, as well as something called the forgiveness worksheet that I received from one of my mentors years ago. Her name is Jody Johnson, but she didn't invent the forgiveness worksheet. You can go online, you can look it up and find a PDF of that. And then finally, the last influence, the most recent one, is a book called Busting Loose from the Money Game. And so these influences are all woven together, plus my personal experience, into this step-by-step process I'm going to share with you. Now, first and foremost, before I keep going, I do want to say one thing that is relevant to this whole process, and that is emotional alchemy requires the opening of the heart. You literally cannot have emotional alchemy or even spiritual alchemy without opening the heart. The path to that transcendence, from this to that, goes through the heart. For some of us, and this was my story, we've hardened our hearts to life. I know that I spent years avoiding certain emotions, feeling a certain way. I used to drink, I used to party, I used to be a workaholic, in order to avoid feeling certain feelings. And so one thing that may get in the way, or let's say this another way, that may require practice for you is practicing the feeling of the feelings. You might resist or avoid them. I know that I did Alchemy last weekend and I started to procrastinate. I got on my phone, I checked out social media, I did Scrabble on my phone, and I recognized that I was doing it. It was like, oh, here I am not wanting to feel these feelings, not doing the alchemy because I'm trying to avoid. And that's usually a really good sign that it's time to open the heart and actually go in and feel something. All right, now, before I share with you my process, my actual step-by-step process, I want to invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'd love to hear your stories of emotional alchemy below in the comments. So to walk you through these steps, I busted out my handy-dandy flip chart, which some of you know I love. And I'm going to walk you through these steps and give them to you so that you can also keep track of them and write them down. So the first step is to examine. Now, I'm using the word examine very intentionally because we start generally, not always, but I'll explain in a moment. We start generally with the mind. Most often, not always, doing emotional alchemy requires the heart, as I said earlier. But it's not always appropriate to do emotional alchemy in the moment. Let's say you're in front of a group of people and you have a big trigger come up, a big moment of anger. You don't want to blow up in the boardroom in front of everybody, right? That's not a good time to fully feel all your feelings about this thing that just happened, right? So what most often will happen is you'll breathe, swallow it down, get a hold of yourself, and take a moment, right? And you can bring yourself back and be present in the boardroom and act professionally and all those things, but you've just swallowed those emotions. They've just gone somewhere in your body. Believe it or not, they actually do. So in order to do alchemy, later you might want to go into, when you get home at night and you're by yourself, you might want to take a moment to come back to that situation. That's what emotional alchemy is. But by then, the thing is already swallowed down. It's already locked up. And in fact, you may have gone to have drinks to forget about it, right? And so now it's not really easily accessible. So step one is we want to come back to the moment, come back to the experience and examine it and bring it back so that mentally, so that we can get to it emotionally. So we have to examine the experience. We ask, what happened? Why does it upset me? And then here's the big question. How do I feel about it? Now, a lot of times we can struggle with this word feel and we keep coming back to examination. We stay in the head. So the second thing that we must do, right, especially if we can't get to those feelings, is we have to become willing. And it may take you actually saying, okay, I'm willing to feel these feelings and really go into the feeling. Are you willing, yes or no? And be honest with yourself. Sometimes it's no. Sometimes, you know what, I'm not willing to go here right now. Sometimes this is, I'm not ready. And so the answer is no, you stop. But if the answer is yes, I'm willing, then this is where it gets difficult. This is the part that we avoid, is we have to feel all of it. We want to dive in to the discomfort as deeply as we possibly can. And that's really scary for some people. Some people really literally feel like they will die if they fully feel that feeling. You won't die, but it is scary. So number 3, once we've established that we're willing, we got to go all the way in. And so this is where we try to feel the feeling. What is it? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it guilt? Is it shame? It's like, all right, feelings, all right, heart, let's go. Let's feel it. And you might have to say things to get yourself into the emotion of it. You might have to say things like, I hate it when so-and-so does this thing. I hate feeling this way. I don't like this, right? You want to, almost like a little kid, like activate your inner 4-year-old temper tantrum. You're by yourself, or at least I advise you to be by yourself, and just let yourself have the temper tantrum. Feel it all the way. And at the height of the discomfort, like when you've gotten to the place where you can't build up the energy anymore, you claim your power back. And you make the sound. So you make the sound, like you let it out, you scream, you cry, you cough, like Whatever the sound is that goes with the feeling, you make it and then you claim your power. So really, actually, making the sound really technically goes up here. Feel all of it. Make the sound, let it out, because sound carries emotion, sound carries energy. This is how it works. It moves through your body and it liberates energy that's bound. That thing that you swallowed that's in there, making the sound will liberate it and allow it to come back, and then you claim your power. I take my power back. I deserve better than this. I deserve more than this. I will not give up my power anymore. Whatever it is that you want to claim, you want to take your power back and use the language. I take my power back. I take it back from this feeling, from this anger, from this sadness, and you yell it, you scream it at the top of your lungs. I take my power back. Now, I can't yell it and scream it here because they're neighbors and they'll think that something's wrong over here. But you say it and you scream it. Now, if you can't do it at the top of your lungs because you live in an apartment or whatever, take a towel and do it into the towel. The towel will muffle what you're screaming. This is a trick I learned from Nani Leah. You can scream whatever it is into the towel and people won't hear it very far away. You claim your power back, and then once you feel like you fully claimed your power, what should naturally happen is you should start to open and feel the energy move through your body. What'll naturally happen, even without you trying, once you're tightening up, you're screaming, you're good, I take my power back, and what will naturally happen is your body will start to open. Naturally. You won't even have to try, but just in case, you start to open and feel the energy move through you. Like, you'll feel it. You'll feel like the energy is moving through you. You'll feel it in your hands, and you can say it. I feel the power in my hands. I feel the power surging through my body. I feel the power coming up from the earth into my legs. I feel the power entering me. Just pretend. Even if you don't actually feel it, just say it, because as you say it, you will start to make it true. You will start to feel it. I feel the energy moving through me. I feel the liberation of that which I'm letting go of. I claim my power. I feel the energy. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Feel it as much as you can. And as you open, step 6 is tap into gratitude. Find a way, and it should be really easy at this point. When you've done this, find a way to say thank you. Thank you for giving me this experience. Thank you for allowing me to open and evolve in this way. Thank you for allowing me to learn and grow. Thank you for allowing me the experience of feeling my power again. Whatever it is, to whomever you're grateful, whether it's God or spirit or something else, your higher self, just tap into gratitude. It might help to put your hands on your heart, to touch your body, to breathe, to open and just say thank you. And just tap into that gratitude and say whatever comes through. And then the last step, which isn't really a step, is I would recommend journaling about the whole experience and what came through. Especially if you've done all of this written, like I have a worksheet that I use. But at the end, see how different your feelings are from the beginning. And you'll see the alchemy, what you've turned into something valuable is the lesson that you're going to get and you're going to journal about and write down. So I'm going to write here the lesson. What is it? What did you get from this? What gift, what blessing came out of this? I thank you for listening to this process. I really hope this helps you, and I hope that you use it. If you're interested in bringing alchemy into your business so that you can develop yourself and be a better leader of group coaching programs, mastermind groups, cultures, let me know. We can connect at superstaractivator.com/go.